Hi, welcome to another abandoned railway saga that we're doing. This is Em.
And this is Stu. And today we've returned to Wivenhoe in Essex. Now, if you watched the last video we did of this area, the Tender and Hundred Railway, you might recall we mentioned a branch line that ran from Wivenhoe down to Brightlingsea, which is now completely disused.
And hidden,
yeah,
completely hidden away.
And that's what we're going to be showing you today.
Okay, so Em, I think we'd better go and have a quick look, don't you?
We are right at the beginning of it. Now we managed to find it. So let's take you for a look.
Let's go.
Right, so this line was opened in 1866, the same as the last line that we did. And believe it or not, it was actually opened by the Wivenhoe to Brightlingsea Railway Company, very aptly named. But it was then taken over by the Great Eastern Railway, like a lot of them were. But we are right at, well, as far as we can get from the branch, obviously without going on to Network Railway land, which of course we're not going to do. But we've actually found a little bit of a hidden feature that we didn't expect to find down here. So we're going to show you that now. Ooh. So we are now right on top of quite an impressive embankment, and just down here is actually an old railway bridge, and we're guessing it was just accessed to the farmers' fields and things. Obviously the actual tracks have been removed and we're just left with these sort of buttresses, but it's quite impressive, I thought.
Okay, so as we're just walking away from the bridge, believe that we have found a part of the bridge, which is this. And the other reason we're saying that, because this is concrete, and we all know how World War II structures were built when they put wood slats out, poured the concrete in, it made the mould. Well, this has exactly the same type of thing. It does look like a part of the bridge. There is another part over here, which is identical, so there's no point showing you this. But we believe that we have found it, and hopefully we can find more remnants on the way, so see you there. Okay, so we're walking along this embankment track bed. There's no sure signs of ballast or anything left up here. It's mostly cowpat and mud.
Very heavily used by the local animals.
Exactly, but we have just been seeing some old track posts.
Yeah, there's lots of fence posts running all the way along here, which is how we knew this is where the track was, obviously. Yeah,
but it's quite a nice little walk, really. I mean, there isn't loads to see. But we will show you when we get to a slope where the cows have been kicking up some of the old coal and some of the old ballast, which we did notice down here. So we're going to carry on now, and we'll probably see you halfway down. Right, okay, so we've got to this point, and you can't overly see it, but you can see some of the ballast and coal running down here where the cows have been kicking it up. Let's have a look. Shall we have a look, shall we? Emma's over here. We'll have a quick look. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I would say this is definitely not naturally occurring here. Like this,
no.
This is all charcoal. It's charcoal, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder whether they sort of dumped it off the side as they went past.
There's a possibility.
I don't really know.
You don't know,
but that's clearly bits of ballast and definitely coal remnants there.
Yeah, of course there is. It's just where the cows are kicking it all up.
We've also got quite a nice fence.
And we'll go down and actually have a look at some of this fence, I think.
Not quite so muddy here.
No, it's not, and you still, again, the charcoal and the thing here keeping it, what you call it. So yeah, this is the old fence panels, a bit closer than what we could get a little while ago. So there you go, and they run all the way down there and all the way down there. So that's quite a nice little show.
Keep going then.
Let's go. It's raining. Emma, you must have just heard that.
We just had lunch and it was beautiful.
And then all of a sudden,
I turned the camera on, it's raining again.
It started to rain. But what we wanted to show you quickly, just here, we've come out of the tree line from doing
the actual track. We've walked onto the public footpath.
And we've just done some drone footage of it. You can have a quick look at that while we're talking. And basically, we're walking along this curve, but you can now see the curve just over here. And this is where the track bed is, just over here. We're just walking
along the tree line that goes all the way back. Let us stop a minute. All the way back there is, well, that's where we were, right over there.
Yeah.
And we're going to follow it where it joins on to the actual public footpath along the river here.
So we're going to carry on walking, and we'll see you when we get to our next point of destination. Okay.
So we're just walking down the trackbed here, and we have been for probably about half a mile now. And we're going to assume that just down here in this sort of small cutting was where the actual track was. I don't think it would have been up here. But it's all really flooded now. And actually, flooding was a bit of a problem that they quite often had along this line. I think in about 1902 they had some bad flooding. And of course in 1953 the Great Eastern Floods actually took out about 2 miles of this track. And they weren't going to rebuild it. They sort of decided to maybe close it down. But the local town complained and said, oh, we know we need it for our local freight and everything. So they rebuilt it, and in the December it was up and running again. But of course nature's taken over again, and it's all flooding again now. So we're just walking along this path, and we've established that this was definitely the trackbed because we've got posts to my left and posts to my right. So clearly this was the actual trackbed. But we're going to follow it down, and we're hoping there's going to be quite a good feature remaining down here. So just behind me is the original trackbed. Obviously it was a bit bigger then, but we've lost quite a lot due to erosion. And if you look really closely, you can make out a thin layer of black, which we're guessing is soot and ash, because it looks like there's charcoal and all sorts into it. But the track continued all the way down here to where the creek actually is. And of course, to follow over where the creek was, it needed a swing bridge. And we're lucky enough to have some of the remnants right here.
Right, okay, so these are the pillars for the swing bridge, which just at the back of us there is exactly identical copies.
Over on the Brightlingsea side.
Yeah, and they're made out of steel, concrete, and I think iron this bridge was.
Well, the actual bridge was made of raw iron, and I'll put a little picture in to show you what it used to look like, because it was quite impressive. But it had obviously a swing part in the middle to give access to the boats for the quarry, because there's a quarry just over here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the other interesting thing is, we've spoken to a local recently, and when he was a little boy, he actually said he watched this swing bridge get blown up into the...
when they dismantled it, they blew it up.
And there is a buoy just in the middle there, which actually warns you, or warns the boats that go past, there is actually a shallow bit, so we're assuming that possibly there might be a part of this.
Pillars there. Yeah.
Exactly. So we're going to carry on having a look around, because it's quite an interesting place, and we'll start talking to you in a little while.
Yeah. So although this swing bridge was really very impressive, unfortunately it ended up being the demise of the entire line in the end, because we all know about, of course, the 1960s Dr. Beeching cuts. They decided that it was far too expensive to maintain the old bridge and closed the entire line down, even though the locals campaigned to try and keep it open. As you can see, they were obviously unsuccessful, and the rest of it is history really. But we are now going to make our way over the creek here down to Brightlingsea, and we're going to continue the line to the station down there. Same time that they were actually building this railway, they were also building a harbour down here in Brightlingsea.
There's no evidence of that.
No, if you know the local area, you'll probably say, well, there isn't no harbour at Brightlingsea. Well, no, there isn't, because they realised that the water was far too shallow, and they sort of aborted the whole thing. But that did mean that the railway was even more important, because the trade of oysters and sprats was huge down in Brightlingsea. In fact, they exported more sprats from Brightlingsea than I think anywhere else in the UK. So an awful lot of the trains obviously were used for transporting them.
That's pretty cool.
Back and forward up to Harwich apparently, and on to the train ferries down to Billingsgate. A lot of it went.
And then you can sort of see why they got a bit angry that this line had to go.
Yeah, but then I suppose really the fishing trade, like everywhere around the country, diminished really, didn't it?
Yeah.
So
but we're going to go on now, so
we're nearly at the station then.
Okay, see you there. So
nearly at the station.
Nearly at the station. We're actually walking along the original flatbed up the top here. This is the flatbed, and you can sort of tell that they've recycled these posts.
So these are the same posts that they had on the Wivenhoe side.
Yes,
so
they are.
So they're obviously a remnant from the railway.
And for some reason, you can't actually walk along this bit. I don't know why.
The trackbed is fenced off for some reason.
Yeah.
But just down here that we can. Now there's a caravan park. I don't know if you can see behind me.
Just here, yeah.
That's where the station sort of began, and there was a few little branches that came off. I'll just show you in a map sort of the layout of what the station used to be like.
Yeah, but we're going to carry on now, and we're literally right next to the station, so see you there. Right, okay, so we're on the site of Brighton SE Station, and we're standing exactly where the buffers were.
Okay, so the station here closed in 1964. But the original building that was right pretty much behind us wasn't the original building. That one burnt down in 1900 and was rebuilt.
Yeah.
But it carried on
to about 1964.
Until 1964.
64.
Yeah, when, like we've already said, they decided it was going to cost too much.
Too much. The swing bridge got blown up.
Because of that blooming bridge.
Yeah.
And that was the end of the Wivenhoe to Brightlingsea line.
Yeah. I think it got destroyed by a fire in '68.
Yeah, the station actually did sit here for a few years after it closed, but it got burnt down and then they demolished it. And there is absolutely no remnants at all.
Not even a plaque.
Ever a station here in Brightlingsea, which is a real shame. I mean, the only hint really is the fact that this is called Station Road, and across the road we've got the Station Tavern.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it, really. But I think this little explore has been done today. I think we've had a really good day.
Yeah.
So as from exploring, Em and Stu,
thanks
catch
for
you
watching.
again. Bye.
Bye.